Good evening and welcome to another episode of Amplifying Voices, a podcast series by Smart Speech Learning and Development Center, where life stories are celebrated and potentials are uncovered. I'm your host, Saidi Victas. So in today's episode, we will talk about an inspiring life story of a fearless explorer who found her passion after a long, arduous journey. Let us uncover how she found her passion amid doubts and uncertainty. Listen and be inspired by her incredible story of uncovering passion. So we will get to know more about her and her captivating story of self-exploration, so be sure to tune in. So our guest today is an exceptional young lady from Legazpi, Albay. And sa panibagong episode naman ng ating podcast series, we will talk about how passion drives a certain individual. So in today's, or our guest is currently pursuing Bachelor of Early Childhood Education at Bicol University College of Education. She is a singer, volunteer, and aspiring future educator. So in today's episode, she's going to share her story of uncovering passion. Again, help me welcome Miss Clarice Baldon in today's episode of Amplifying Voices, titled Uncovering Passion, A Journey of Self-Exploration. Hello, Miss Clarice. Good evening. Kumusta po kayo sa gabing ito?
Good evening, Teacher Saidi. And I'm very much kinakabahan right now. Pero I'm so excited to be back here in Smart Speech after almost 3 weeks. Yeah. Ganun katagal since we last spoken to each other about this series nga po, about this podcast. And even though I'm a bit nervous, very excited pa rin to share my story that some of you may also relate to. And yun, I hope we learn many things this episode.
And yeah, and also here at Smart Speech and with the Orange community, we are also very excited for this episode with you because we will be uncovering another inspiring story that will surely help our listeners and viewers in their lives also. Perhaps they may be going through the same thing, like maybe they are still trying to figure out what is the most thing that they're most passionate about, or maybe nahanap na nila yung something na passionate about, passionate sila rather, but hindi sila, with their circumstances, hindi nila kayang ma-pursue yun. So, yung biggest question for today's episode is, nahanap mo na ba yung something the most passionate ka? So, let's ask Miss Clarice. So, as of the moment, masasabi mo na bang may something ka na passionate about? You're really, really passionate about na even though hindi siya, it may take time para gawin yun, or maybe tiring perhaps sa ibang circumstances or situation. But nonetheless, you are still very eager to do it and you're excited, you look forward to it.
Ayan, it took me lots of years actually to discover ito ngang interest ko. Since, yun nga, I have been doubting rin my skills as a person, yung mga kaya kong gawin, parang hindi ko talaga siya na i-improve sa sarili ko. That's why parang to the point na parang hindi worth actually yung path na nadadatnan ko. So, ayun nga po, currently, during this, my last year as an education student, yun, nafe-feel ko na ito na, I think, teaching talaga is really a calling sa bawat person. Hindi siya madaling profession, hindi siya madaling decision, or hindi siya madali talagang ipasok na trabaho sa field of children, of learning, of teaching. Napakahirap niyang trabaho since yun nga, I experienced it firsthand since nga my mother is a teacher ayon sa isang public school here, and also my grandmother and other titas Yun din. So, from a family of teachers po talaga ako. So yun, I think that mainly influenced my decision po talaga na to pursue education. And during the first years of education, even though it was my decision, syempre may tumutulak pa rin sa akin na parang hindi ko talaga to gusto. Parang may part pa rin sa akin na parang okay, from this family background ka galing, okay, malay mo talaga, yun talaga yung mapuntahan mo rin na path. Ganon. So, I tried it actually kasi with some pushing, push na ng iba kong relatives na sige na nga, i-pursue mo nga yung early childhood education. Since ang first nila sa aking reason is because it is in demand daw siyang trabaho sa abroad. So yun, okay, sabi ko, sige, since wala pa talaga akong decision na nagagawa during my first years in my college. So, ayun, even though yung drive ko mainly is focused sa extrinsic motivation ng ibang tao, actually ngayong senior year ko lang talaga siya na feel na okay, ito na talaga yung path na tinaka ko talaga for almost 4 years na yun nga, I believe na kaya ko naman talaga. Parang doon na talaga nag-focus yung thinking ko, even though it's a hard profession, it's a hard task of being an educator, of being a teacher. Masasabi mo talaga siyang very fulfilling. Yun talaga yung tumatak sa akin. And it's not about just the workload, the income, mainly the income. Kasi yun, we all know the issue here kapag we're talking about teachers. Hindi siya in par with what we receive ayan. Ayun.
So parang yung nangyari, parang may last turn of event. Kumbaga, initially, hindi pa mo siya nakikita as you're something you're most passionate about. Pero nung nandito ka na in your last years sa batch, sa program mo, dun mo nalaman na, ito siguro yung para sa akin. So grabe din talaga siguro mag-work yung calling sa atin, yung purpose natin sa itong field, sa teaching. Kumbaga, initially yun nga, wala tayong masyadong, perhaps siguro yun nga, extrinsic pa yung motivation natin, wala pa sa atin na inner drive na gawin to, pero buti na lang.
Buti na lang talaga.
You're cold.
Sayang yung years.
Yeah, and you're really cold to be one of our outstanding future educators kasi yung sa story mga. Pero before we go back to how you found your passion, let's go down a little backwards sa memory lane mo.
Oh my God.
Kumusta naman yung, nung nandun ka ba, when you were in elementary perhaps, or nung senior high school ka, or nung high school ka, nakikita mo ba yung sarili mo na magturo or as a teacher?
To cut the story short, no. No, kasi ngayon nga, as I've said kanina, a while ago, my mom nga is a teacher. So yun, first hand kong nakikita of how difficult it is to teach, and not just to teach. Siyempre, may knowledge ka, marunong ka magturo, but kung paano mo mamamanage ang classroom mo, the learners especially, kung paano mo ma-i-instill talaga yung knowledge sa kanila, yung tatatak talaga yung lesson. Kasi syempre, yun naman talaga yung main point of teaching is yung may matutunan yung bata sa'yo. Opo. So, ayun, hindi ko siya first decision talaga, pero maybe some of those people na close to me, baka nakita talaga nila na na teaching din mapapadpad ako kasi yung mom ko teacher, or maybe hindi ko sila natanong. hindi ko alam yung thoughts, but that's one, maybe, probably most of the time yun yung think nila na na-influence ka talaga ng someone close to you to pursue teaching, since yun nga, it's not an easy decision na mag-teach. And hindi lahat talaga ng person is magiging pipiliin ang education. Ayun. So, yun.
So, kumbaga, wala talaga dun sa journey mo, nung initial mo, wala pa siya.
Wala po
Pero,
talaga.
kumusta naman ngayon na yung first year mo as Bachelor of Early Childhood Education student, kumusta naman ba? Ito ba yung talagang na-foresee mo in case na tahakin mo yung teaching nung nasa senior high school ka pa lang?
Nung nasa senior high school pa lang ako, no. Laging no ang answer. Since yun nga, parang nagkaroon lang talaga ako ng huge shift. Ngayon lang, na senior year na ako. Since I think the biggest factor that led me to this decision, to really finding my passion is the direct experience. The first-hand experience talaga na dealing with children, of how to manage their behavior, and then of course, kung yung kakulitan nila, yung curiosity nila, yun talaga yung nagpa-stay sa akin sa field na to. Since yun nga, ang ganda sa feeling na yung mga bata talaga is nakakatuto talaga sa'yo. Nasasagot mo yung mga tanong nila, no matter how complex it is. Ayun, yun yung main point talaga of why I shifted to education or to teaching. Pero yun, when I was in high school, senior high school, I think most of the time, ang naisip ko nun is that since I'm pursuing ABM, yon yung track ko. So sabi ko, okay, baka accountancy talaga. Baka yun talaga, accountancy. Kasi nasa ABM ako eh. Nagma-math kami, then journal entries. And then, maganda siya since critical thinking talaga, ability yung kailangan mong gamitin. Pero very mahirap. Actually, nung nag-start na ako ng college ko, being an education student, some of my close friends, sila yung nag-pursue talaga ng accountancy. So yun, pag nag-update kami sa GC, yun talaga yung yung topic nila. Hirap ngayon, hindi ngayon nagtuturo sa amin. Ganyan. Tapos, pakapasok pa lang ngayon nila sa classroom, may pa-exam na yung prof. Yun yung naging scenario ng nila. So parang na-discourage na rin ako. Na-discourage na rin ako kasi yun nga, parang yung decision na yun, sabi ko, okay, let's pursue accountancy. Maybe I'm just following other people's footsteps. Yun yung naging idea ko right now. Thinking about it, na yung before I led to this decision mag-teaching, mag-education, yun talaga yun. So, ayun, yun yung journey. When I was in elementary and in high school, ayun.
Buti na lang, before ka pa mag-graduate ng education, nakita mo na ito yung something you're passionate ka. Actually, medyo nakarelate ako sa story mo kasi same tayo, we are pursuing teaching. Pero na-feel ko din yung parang fire or yung burning passion for teaching when I had my internship then.
Yeah.
Kasi iba talaga sa feeling nung, siguro ito din yung nafe-feel ng mga previous teachers natin back then na they had this moment of self-fulfillment pag nakikita nila yung students nila na may natututunan sa atin or sa kanila as teachers. Kasi I had this activity back then. Parang ako nang nag-gwento.
Sige lang po.
I had this reading activity back then for my students. Grade 10 sila. Tapos I asked them to read stories. Tapos dun sa stories na yun, yung isa, medyo lengthy siya, although short story man lang. Pero, kasi diba, initially, I thought, medyo masama ako sa part na nagde-judge. Akala ko nag-ano lang sila, nagbabrowse lang ng story. Pero I observed one student na at the very last part ng story, nandun kasi yung plot twist ng story. Bakit ganito yung title ng story? Kasi nandito siya sa last part, nandun yung parang summary ng story. So, naantig ako kasi, Hala, ang sarap sa feeling na ganito pala yung feeling ng teacher pag nakikita nilang may natutunan nila sa estudyante. Although wala pa man akong intervention doon, pero it's really fulfilling na makita mo na, ay, ganito, yung, hindi ko alam kung tama yung exact words na, or yung words na nare-recall ko, pero sabi niya, ay, ganito pala yung story niya. Yung mga ganong moments baga with students, it's really fulfilling for us, for teachers and for future educators na, kumbaga, yung craft mo, yung ginagawa natin, nagme-make sense not only sa atin, pati din, most importantly, sa students. So ngayon nga na nasa field ka na, Miss Clarice, kumusta naman yung experience mo? Yung teaching, yung field study experience mo?
Ayan, the experience talaga is really challenging right now. Since yun nga, first time lang namin ma-deploy, tapos senior year na kami, last year na namin, tapos ngayon pa lang kami napalabas talaga. It was challenging with the fact na, okay, equipped kami with the pedagogies, the knowledge, the skills nga na enhance namin sa loob ng classroom. But it's really different once you're in an actual classroom. Hindi mo talaga siya mape-perfect. Hindi mo, okay kung sa classroom nga, okay, maganda nga yung pagkaka-deliver mo ng lesson. Pero kapag you're dealing now with young children, especially sa course ko, which is kindergarten learners, they are 4 or 5 years old. That's how young these learners are, na yun ang dapat din na level mo. Ayun, dapat ilalevelize mo talaga yung sarili mo to what they know, kung saan sila talaga, kung saan yung point talaga nila ng knowledge. Ila-level down mo daw yung sarili mo. Talaga, para maintindihan nila yung nilelesson mo, and hindi ka gagamit ng mga technical terms na hindi talaga nila maintindihan. So, okay, kung ngayon, magaling ako mag-speak, pero kapag nandun ka na sa field talaga, mawawala ka na. Since yung mga bata nga dapat, words mo lang is simple, and then, yung maiintindihan talaga nila. Yun yung challenging part sa akin. Pero, hindi lang din naman yun, actually. Since right now, we're dealing with children in the generation ng Gen Alpha. Yes, Gen Alpha. So, they're technically technology savvies na tinatawag. So, they were born with lots of technology exposed na sila sa gadgets. And main thing talaga niya is the behavior na. Their attention span. Yun talaga, kapag, okay, naglalesson ko na yan, mga 5 seconds, wala, talikod na yung estudyante mo. Andun na ngayon sa may learning area, nagsaslide-slide na. Pero hindi mo siya unless you call out his name. Pero yun nga, once you call out his name, syempre madidistract ka. Pati yung mga other students mo, parang mawawala rin sa focus. So yun talaga yung problema. Yun yung challenge talaga. So you gotta make your activities very entertaining to all of your students, and then engaging siya with the fact na lahat ng senses nila is magagamit nila. Kasi yun naman talaga yung dapat na maituro mo sa children is more on the senses, and it's more on play activities. Reality check. Yung children ngayon, even though they're in kindergarten level na, they are parang obliga na sila na magkaroon ng writing skills, na ma-perfect na nila yung blue, red, blue. Since yun nga yung setting natin sa educational system natin na at grade 1, marami na silang sinusulat actually. Hindi na natin masyado makikita yung play sa classroom. So, recently, kami ni Karen, yung partner ko sa school, sa classroom, kami demo teaching kami on the spot, actually. On the spot. Pero okay naman, kaya naman. Since, yun nga, children, ayun, parang, alam mo naman din naman kung paano mo yung lesson mo, kung paano mo siya matuturo. So, nung nag-demo teaching na kami, since yung kids nga, they're not exposed to play masyado, and to sensory activities, yung mga big craft namin activity is yung digital and non-digital. So, digital and traditional na material. So, si Karen, nakatoka siya sa digital. So, we made use of laptops. And then, may TV naman sila doon. So, kinonect namin yung laptop doon. And then, nung nag-activity na kami about sa transportation, yun transportation sa lupa, sa langit, and then sa dagat. Ang cute nun. So, may mga pictures doon ng iba't ibang transpo. So, ayun. Karen, nanonood. Hello. Karen, shout out. So, kinikwento ko yung experience natin. So, ayun. Yung transpo. Since na-excites yung kids since first time, I believe, first time nilang maka-experience ng ganon, we made use of her laptop na mag-drag ng mga pictures from sa taas. Pipili sila ng picture kung anong gusto nila doon. Drag nila yung boat sa sasakyang pandagat. Ganyan. Drag nila yung hot air balloon. Kahit di pa sila nakakita ng ganon, they know. They already know what's a hot air balloon. Kahit in person, di pa nila nakikita. So that's how knowledgeable kindergartners are. So ayun, drag nila sa sasakyang panghimpapawid. Ganyan, mahirap ng terms. Pero yun, Tagalog kami. Pag ganyan. So, yun, not just that. Especially, challenges na encounter ko is some of the children talaga, besides the behavior, may iba talagang parang unmotivated. Very unmotivated to go to school. Of course, it affects na rin their behavior nga and their experiences, personal experiences, not just in school, but at home. Siyempre, maybe hindi pa sila masyadong oriented kung anong klase ang school ba, kung anong ginagawa sa school. And a lot of the times, I think children with those kind of challenges, of those kinds of problems, parang magkakaroon sila ng eagerness to come to school if they have fun sa school. Hindi lang, puro writing, hindi lang puro worksheets. Ganon. Sa feeling ko lang, sa kutob ka lang. Kutob lang.
Mga bata pa sila.
Oo, mga bata pa sila. So, they need fun. They need play. Pero, syempre, yung play naman, iaangkop mo siya sa lessons mo pa rin. Kasi possible naman talaga siya. Kung akalain mo naglalaro lang sila, they're not just playing, but they're also learning. Yun yung natutunan ko actually sa mga advisor ko dyan, sa mga profs ko dyan from Bicol University. Oo. Props to them for pushing me to my limits. Kahit very in denial talaga ako na ayaw ko mag-teaching, na ayaw ko sa field ng education. Patanong ako, Ms. Baldon, ito ba talaga yung gusto mo? Sabi ko, ma'am, no po. Pero, ayun, ma'am, hello po, yes, no po.
Iba na yung sagot na lang after ilang years. She already found her passion. So, going back doon, teachers, sa experience mo, kasi, of course, different teachers, meron tayong iba-ibang unique style. So, I'm very curious kasi, hindi naman sa nagkukumpara, pero parang iba kasi yung the way the teachers sa LM and sa high school mag-handle ng students, right? Kasi iba din yung behavior ng mga bata, iba din yung sa mga teens and adults na. So, sasabi mo pa ganun na kunwari nasa lesson kayo and some students are not paying attention or iba yung ginagawa nila. How do you handle circumstance or situation? Paano ba sila tawag dito, makukot ulit yung attention na hindi sila parang na-offend, na parang hindi nila ma-feel na pinapagalitan. Kasi bata pa sila, perhaps they are a little sensitive, di ba? So how do you handle yung mga ganong types of students, teachers?
Even though hindi ko pa siya talaga na-apply, syempre may knowledge na rin, may mga baon na rin baga kung paano mo siya gagawin. And the first is, If a student is not paying attention during nagla-lesson, you may call out their name, pero not in a way na mapapahiya sila. For example, you may call out their name by using his name as an example sa activity. Kunwari si Matthew nga is swimming, hindi ganito, ganyan. Pero hindi niya mahahalata na pinapagalitan siya, narinig niya lang yung pangalan niya, makakot na yung, madadivert na yung attention niya sa'yo. Pero, yun nga, not in a way na very harmful siya or very, na-humiliate yung bata, hindi naman. You're just using his name as an example sa activity mo. So that's one way, calling out their names. Second is, assumingly na na-establish mo na yung routines or yung rules sa classroom. Pwede ka, like what my resource teacher do, sinasabi niya, itaas niya yung mga kamay. Makataas nila ng kamay, syempre, yung attention nila na kay madam na. O, ilagay niya sa lab. Ayan. So, ayun, parang alam na nila na may sasabihin si teacher. Ayun na, important na yung sasabihin niya kasi nga, pinabehave niya na. Yan yung mga strategies na nakikita ko rin sa field na I think very effective talaga siya. Once you're handling children na may attention problems. Ayun.
So, if you don't mind, teacher, if you don't mind me asking, kasi siguro baka judgmental lang ako, pero are you introvert po ba?
Oh, very introvert. Actually, ambivert naman in a way na I can interact with people. Who wants to interact with me? Yan, parang kung interesado ka makipag-usap sa akin, syempre kakausapin din kita. Pero, ganon actually. Pero, some aspects actually in life, hindi mo talaga makikip yung mga tao. Hindi talaga gustong makip ka. So, yun na, you have to let go na rin sa mga ganon. And then, just know na, even though ganun yung naging issue, I think once you get to know more of yourself, ikaw lang naman talaga ang kakampi mo sa buhay, ganyan. Yun lang yung iniisip ko actually, even though hindi ako masyadong sociable, hindi ako talaga lumalabas. Ayun, taong bahay. Kung lalabas naman ako, nandyan lang ako sa school, computeran actually, or maybe I'm having coffee sa mga cafes. Yan lang, reading, writing. Yun talaga yung main things that I do. When I want some alone time, yun.
So, in terms naman po in dealing with your students, kasi hindi naman natin maaalis sa atin na we have yung sinasabi nila na minsan na-run out na din yung social battery natin. May mga times ka ba, teacher, na nafe-feel, kunwari, you're in the middle of the class, tapos pang ilang session pa lang, pero nafe-feel mo or na-feel mo ba yung parang, yun nga, yung social battery mo, bumababa na?
Oo. Especially kapag ayaw na talaga ng estudyante na makinig sa'yo. As in, drain ka na, super dry na ng throat mo, ang sakit na ng paa mo, kakatayo, kakasaway. Mafe-feel mo talaga yung pagod sa teaching. But what keeps you going is your determination to teach. Kahit sobrang pagod ka na, the next day, babangon ka pa talaga. Kakayanin mong bumangon, kahit nakakapagod, since yun talaga yung gusto mong gawin eh. Yun yung naging motivation ko actually. Kung iisipin, sa buong years ko, since when I was in elementary hanggang third year high school, I believe, ako talaga yung, sorry, ako talaga yung late. Kung late. Yeah, kanina na late din ako. Oh my gosh.
It's okay, we understand.
Tapos yung weather is not giving. And the odds are not in our favor. So, yun nga, kung iisipin, even though yun naging behavior ko before, but when I stepped into being a senior student, yun na nga, and may deployment kami, and ang reminders talaga sa amin is, dapat mas maaga ka sa bata. Dapat mas maaga ka pumasok sa school bago sila yung yung makarating sa school. So, ang ginawa ko, nag-alarm ako everyday talaga ng 5. So, 5, narinig ko na yung phone ko. Ayan, gigising na ako. Tapos, asikaso na, ganyan. Wala pang 6:30, I'm on my way na sa school. Ganyan yung naging habit ko during FS1 and ngayong FS2, ganun din naman. Patapos na. Pero more on episodes na lang yung ginagawa namin sa FS2. Pero nung first, talaga, very, kahit nung una, very in denial ako na yun nga, kanina na I don't like teaching, ganyan. Pero once na na-meet ko yung students ko, nagbago talaga yung routine ko. As in, natutulog na akong around 10. Kahit before, mga 2, gising pa ako niyan. Mga 2, gising pa ako niyan. Ano bang ginagawa? Naglalaro yata ako niyan. Pero ngayon, 10, I think, tulog na talaga ako niyan. And then, I wake up at 5 para mag-asikaso and then go to school before 6:30 since ang flag nila is 7. Kailangan mo, mauna ka lang yan. Yun nga, kanina, kailangan mong mauna ka sa kanila para mag-greet mo baga sila ng good morning. Kumain na. Anong breakfast mo kanina? Kumain ikaw? Ganyan. Kahit, ganyan yung terms namin, pambata talaga. Kumain na ikaw? Anong kinain mo? Tumitinis din yung boses mo. Kapag mga bata talaga yung kausap mo. Kasi yun yung nakaka-intrigue sa kanila eh. Doon na pipik yung excitement na sumagot na, ay, teacher, kumain ako ngayon ng gulay. Ganyan. Kahit parang sa tingin mo, parang hindi naman gulay yung kinain. Pero kasi, wow, gulay. Diba? Masustansya yan. Nasabi niya ng teacher na ganyan. So, ayun, i-affirm mo yung sinabi nila. And that's what really, that's what's good nga in coming to school na early. Kasi nakakamusta mo yung mga bata. Ayun. Tapos, that makes them, pumasok sa school even more. Yun yung nagiging motivation. Kasi tinatanong ni teacher, si teacher masaya, ganyan, good morning ako, gano'n. May isa ako actually na student na, very, paano ba to? Very attentive siya sa mga sinasabi ko. Ganito nga, nag-thank you nga ako sa isang student. Sabi ko, thank you, student A, ganyan. Tapos sinasabi niya sa akin, teacher, bakit taga-thank you ka kay ganito, ganyan? Tapos sabi ko, kasi, parang nagbigay ng chocolates yung mom niya sa amin during Teacher's Day. So nasabi ko, thank you, ganyan. Tapos parang siya, parang gusto niya rin maka-receive yata ng thank you. Tapos sabi ko, yun yung hurt. So, parang, good thing na rin. About being a teacher na parang pinapakinggan ka talaga nila. Parang very attentive sila sa'yo. May pakialam sila sa'yo sa mga sinasabi mo. And, that's the best thing, I think. And, hindi ko pa na-experience actually na tumungtong sa mga intermediate or sa higher levels. Yun, most of the time is my experience sa kindergarten learners lang.
Oh yeah. So siguro napaka-thankful na mga students mo kasi looking din sa temperament mo, parang talagang, kumbaga, kung ano yung gusto ng kids. Kasi, parang unwanted naman or hindi naman appropriate talaga na yung teacher stern bagay yung voice or yung how he or she speak. Dapat talagang sumabay sa level para kumbaga mag-meet kayo. So, it's nice it's a nice experience for both of you with the kids and you na ganun yung setup. Kasi parang you're going into different dimension.
Different world.
Different world with different personality kasi you're dealing then with different groups of people. Pero kakaiba din yung experience kasi when you talk again sa colleagues natin or sa mga peers natin, iba naman. Iba naman. Kumbaga, meron talagang iba yung personality mo dito sa certain situation, iba din dito. Selective. Parang may imposter syndrome. Pero hindi talaga maiiwasan para mas masut talaga kung ano yung kailangan ng situation ng student, ganyan. So, sa journey mo dito in finding your passion, ano ba yung parang something na, kumbaga, hindrance na baka hindi ito, or baka may something better for me, or baka, kumbaga, may iba pa para sa akin nga. Ano ba yung hindrance doon? Siguro kasi, baka yung iba, meron silang something that they are passionate about, pero hindi nila kayang gawin because of certain circumstance, or nga. Pero may iba naman na, alam nila, pero hindi nila alam kung paano simulan, or may mga doubts sila. So in your case, Teacher Clarice, ano ba yung feeling mo biggest na hindrance para sa'yo in really finding your passion?
I think yung naging challenge talaga sa akin nung una, before even finding this path into teaching or into becoming an educator, is the lack of experience talaga. It's the lack of paano ba to? Hindi talaga kami na-expose masyado. Since, yun nga, teaching ka, ganyan, dapat you're, as early as possible, nakadeal pa na with kids para malaman mo kung ito ba talaga yung para sa'yo or hindi. But in my case, I think during this last year, saka ako lang talaga siya na-realize nang nagkaroon ako ng experience. Yun talaga yung what drove me into pursuing teaching. Yun nga. Yun nga before, sabi ko na kanina na hindi naman talaga ito yung gusto. Hindi siya yung naging, parang yung gustong-gusto ko talagang gawin. What I did is I exposed myself into different seminars, into different situations, sa mga intramurals ng kids, sumasama ako, para baga magkaroon ako ng direct experience na, ganito pala, how to deal with kids. Parang ang saya nila, lagi silang happy face, lagi silang laughing. Yun talaga yung nakapasaya sa akin. And one experience din na tumatak sa akin is yung nag-volunteer kami sa isang center dito sa Legazpi. Opo. Nag-volunteer kami during their intramurals. And then, itong center na to, they specializes with kids with exceptionalities. Yung may mga special needs na children, sila yung hinahandle nila. So, occupational therapies yung center. So, ayun, during their intramurals, we were asked to volunteer to help them po baga sa activities nila. And then, I was assigned to this kid who was diagnosed with, I think, autism and ADHD. And yung experience na yun, so syempre, as expected sa children with autism, hindi talaga sila nag-eye contact. Mahirap mag-stay ng eye contact, and then at the same time, yung attention nila is very, mabilis lang yung span ng attention nila. So di talaga sila nakakapag-focus. But I was assigned to this kid during the time of volunteering. And then, one thing na I built is, parang, syempre, mababa lang pag yung bata. Nilevel down ko yung sarili ko. Like, to the point na parang naka-crutch na ako. Like, kung nagpakilala ako, hello, si Teacher Claire, ganyan. Ako ngayon yung assist sa'yo during, sa games nila, sa intramurals. And then, ayun, syempre, kids with special needs, they tend to have behavioral problems na po. Baga, nag-tantrums out of nowhere, nag-cry, nag-shout. But yung experience ko na yon, it really opened my horizon into teaching talaga. Not just teaching in generally, but I had a soft heart nga po. I have a soft heart with children with special needs. Ayun. Since yung uncle ko din, yung kapatid ng mom ko, he was a kid with Down syndrome. Ayun. But he wasn't given an opportunity nga. Siyempre, sa time nila, matagal na ang panahon. Maybe there was a school nga for them, but yun, syempre, hindi pa ganon ka-legalized or, ka-stable, hindi pa ganon ka-maintained yung
program for children with special needs. Ayun. So parang hindi na nila napasok sa school, yung uncle ko. But ayun, even though he was diagnosed, or even, kahit hindi nga siya diagnosed, makikita mo talaga na he has Down syndrome. But even though he has that special need, he was really an exceptional person. Ayun. So, yun talaga yung na-feel ko na even though these children are different from people like us, they have different potential and they are really gifted with something na hindi natin maintindihan po baga at the moment. But once you get to know them more, yun po talaga yung nagiging stronghold mo sa pag-teach or pag-guide ng isang children with special needs or exceptionalities. So yun, back to your question, yun nga, in-expose ko nga yung sarili ko with different experiences, with different seminars and opportunities. Kahit minsan labag sa loob ko na mag-attend, nag-a-attend talaga ako kasi syempre, marami ka rin matututunan eh. So yun yung naging yung idea ko sa sarili ko na I have to keep improving myself. Yun talaga yung sabi ko na I should be spontaneous and stuff like this and that. Tapos malay mo, yung ideology ko talaga before is once I get to experience and I get to hear other people's experiences, syempre, mamamotivate ka talaga na parang ma-drive, there's a hidden drive na magsasabi sa'yo na wow, parang gusto ko rin ma-experience yung ganito. Yung ganong mga moments na aha moments or mga wow moments. Yun talaga yung nag-attack actually. So yun, once you have indulged yourself into the experiences, syempre, dapat bigyan mo siya ng worth. Hindi lang yung experience pa siya, tapos the next day parang wala lang siya para sa akin. What I did, after nung mga volunteerings and pag-attend ng mga seminars, parang it made me feel na dapat I need to know more of this kind of stuff. Kasi sayang naman eh, yung mga time na you put on to those kinds of experiences, parang masasayang lang yung oras mo sa hindi mo naman talaga siya i-pursue. Yun yung naging problem ko rin actually when I was in my younger years, na okay, ang dami kong gustong gawin. Gusto ko ngayon kanta-kanta, gusto ko ngayon maging, botany, gusto ko maging derma. Yung mga ganong profession ko when I was younger. Pero hindi mo talaga siya ma-achieve if you do not put practice on it, if you do not put effort into really knowing how to really get what you want. Ayun.
Yeah, and it's nice kasi based sa sharing mo, grabe no? Grabe yung commitment mo lalo sa kids and sa teaching. And I think you're one of the gems in this field. Kasi although we have different reasons bakit gusto natin i-pursue yung ganitong bagay, pero yung gano'n na genuine na kagustuhan na you have to do this, not because this is my responsibility or obligation as a teacher, but because I'm doing this for them. Because yun nga, yung mga sinasabi baga natin na mga sayings na kumbaga, yung potentials natin or yung potential natin parang na-unleash siya because of a teacher. Like, and it's nice na although siguro yung iba, since hindi natin maiiwasan na maybe some people are doubting them kasi perhaps they are in this kind of situation. Pero it's nice na nandun ka as guide nila, as a mentor, as an educator para ma-boost yung confidence nila na ay hindi. Although may kakulangan kami or sila, they can do more and they can be something greater than themselves. Yun nga. And dito sa experiences mo with the kids, going back na share mo last time na you had this opportunity wherein you were able to render a song number for a certain group of people. So as a singer then, how do you integrate this craft sa teaching mo?
Ayun, oo. Now that you mentioned it, na-remember ko na siya. Pero kung hindi mo siya hindi ko na rin siya ma-remember. So, ganun lang talaga yung memory ko. It does not hold lots of stuff. Unless you mention it. Parang bumabalik na lang siya sa memory lane ko. So, ayun. Yung, you're talking about the time na nag-sing ako, it was during parang the first time din namin mag-demonstration sa field ng kindergarten students sa isang school here. Ayan. And then, we were tasked to read aloud a book. So yung book, it was about a fish na looking for his friends, ganyan. Tapos naka-encounter siya ng shark. Ganun yung story, naka-encounter siya ng shark. So, I integrated song. Actually, si Karen, I think. Hello, special mention. Si Karen, I think yung nakapag-compose ng song. I don't remember. Kasi second year pa yata kami na, or third year. Ba yun, sining ko yung song. Pero I remember na siya yung pinakaunang nag-demo no na book with singing. Tapos parang tinaasan ko na lang yata yung tono ng song. Kasi pag masyadong mababa, hindi ko na siya ma-reach. Parang pangat siya para sa boses ko. So yun, yung I integrated the song sa libro, and then that what made the read aloud more engaging sa students. Dapat mapa-feel mo sa kanila na yun, na they're part of it too, na hindi ka lang talaga nagbabasa na parang hi, my name is ganyan-ganyan. Pero what you're putting is you're bringing the book to life. Ayan, binibigyan mong buhay yung story. So that's what good about music is. That's what good about being a teacher who's really dedicated into teaching talaga. Kasi nade-deliver mo talaga yung mga lifeless. Yung mga books. Na syempre, mababasa mo lang siya. But once na binasa mo siya sa children, you need to make sure na it will be fun and engaging to them para maintindihan nila. Yun naman talaga kasi yung point is for them to learn from you. So, paano mo yung gagawin? Kung as a teacher, very stagnant ka lang to what you know and what you want to do, but not really prioritizing what the children needs to learn. So, ayun, I integrated the music and may mga movements, may pagganyan-ganyan. Kasi nasa dagat kami. So, let's swim. So, kailangan may swim na Tapos may libro pa ako na nakahawak, di na ako pwedeng gano'n na swim. So, ganito lang. Small movements, but it really has an impact sa children. Kasi yung part na rin na yun, para syempre na-engage sila. They had also an interaction from me kung paano ba de-deliver yung message ng story. So, yun, using music.
It really says a lot din about sa ginagawa natin, right? Kasi perhaps yung iba na kumbaga hindi masyado exposed sa kung anong ginagawa natin. Perhaps they're thinking na ganito lang yung ginagawa natin. Pero it's more than that kasi you have to innovate, maging creative, magiging ka pang singer, magiging dancer. Kahit na, you have to do this parang all around na yung roles mo, hindi lang yung mag-teach sa kanila talaga.
Multi-talented ka dapat talaga. Pero hindi talaga ako sa dancing. Wala kayong kukuhang dancing sa akin. Kasi hindi ko alam. Siguro nag-move talaga yung katawan ko, very still.
Siguro na-compensate na teacher ng singing mo. Kaya doon na din ikaw sa singing.
Sila na lang, yung kids na lang mag-dancing, mag-sing-sing na lang ako. Ayun. Pero one experience din na parang nakagalit sa akin. Nakagalit. Pero nakapag-given din ng drive. Not just to prove, but to just, let them know na ang isang early childhood student, they're not just teaching ABCs. They're not just teaching yung mga rhyming songs, yung numbers. Hindi lang doon nagtatapos ang trabaho ng isang teacher. Siyempre, you're building on that foundation. Yun nga, sinasabi nila na it starts as early. And it's our responsibility not to build the foundation of the child.
Since, yun nga, pag grow up nila, yun yung madadala nila, yun yung maaalala nila, and yun yung kinalakihan nila. So, as teachers nga, one time, may nagsabi sa akin na, batchmate, from other program, nasabi niya sa akin, di ba early childhood ka? Early childhood program mo? Sabi ko, oo, ganyan. Tapos sabi niya, hindi ba, mga ABC lang tinuturo yun siya. Sabi ko, no. Ganyan. No na may gano'n na mata. No.
Talagang firm yung no.
Oo. Pero syempre, hindi ko siya mapaintindi. At that time, hindi ko siya mapaintindi. Kasi may mga iba rin kaming mga ka-officers na nandun. So, alangan naman mag-explain ako out of nowhere. Pero I just said na, yun nga, sabi ko, we build the foundation sa mga bata. It's not just ABCs, it's not just songs, and it's not just numbers. Yun, natawa talaga ako sa sinabi niya. But hindi kasi nila alam of how, hindi nila, maybe alam nila, but they're not admitting to it. They're not fully aware of na it really starts as young as they are. Yung pagkakaroon nila ng ng behavior na kukuha nila sa foundation nila. And it's our responsibility as early childhood teachers na yun yung ma-develop natin. Not just being an academically inclined na student, but a good person too. Yun yung binibuild namin. Not just a good brain, but also a good heart. Yun.
Yeah, sa inyo talaga nagsisimula. Like, starting sa pag-write pa lang na letters, sa pag-hone ng fine motor skills nila, yung mga basic na pwedeng magawa nila na essential pag nandun na sila sa elementary, secondary. Kasi, going back, sa mga experience natin, more than sa matututunan natin dito sa, kunwari high school na tayo or college na tayo, importante din talaga yung natutunan natin when we were younger, like, nung kinder pa lang tayo, nung elementary, kasi nandun yung basics, na kung wala yung basics, mahirap din para, sa next level, kasi yun nga, sa base
up mo.
Yeah, based na din sa curriculum natin, spiral. Pag hindi natin alam yung basics, it will be hard for us kung ano na yung gagawin sa sunod. Kasi, kumbaga connected sila. Kunwari na lang, okay, baka masyado naman siyang English, wag na. Kunwari yung sa language. Kasi diba, yung mga basics sa grammar, sa ganyan, sa mga parts of speech, pag hindi natin siya alam, although sa elementary na part, mahirap na din siya pagdating ng higher years kasi kailangan siya. So, same din sa ginagawa nyo. Kung sa pag-write pa lang, actually, parang napakahirap na magturo, right? Kasi going back siguro nung ako nang tinuturuan ng mama ko, baka na-stress siya sa akin. Kasi actually, I had this story kung bakit ako left-handed. Masyado na.
Go!
Hindi. Very short lang to. Kasi when I was younger, gusto kong turuan na left yung gagamitin. Kaya ako left-handed. Ayoko nang right yung gagamitin. I don't know why. Siguro personal preference lang din. And hindi nga, left-handed na ako. So yun nga, di ba? Ang hirap pag kaya magturo, magsulat, mag-write, yung letters pa lang, magpakilala ng ABCs. But thankfully, you guys are very passionate. Kaya napakagaling din ng mga students natin. And going back dito sa sharing mo, as you can see naman, you're, talagang nakikita namin or narinig namin na you are very into teaching, especially with these kids. But in those experiences with dealing with this group of people, ano ba yung three most important things na nagtatak sa'yo na very, kumbaga, it live a long-lasting impact sa'yo as a teacher then. And it also drive you to keep going and to be more better as their teacher. Ano ba yung three things na makukonsider mo na parang
importante talaga?
Yeah, essential and nabigay sa'yo ng experience na to?
I think first is really determination or commitment into doing something, to doing anything really. It really needs your full attention, your full self na dapat you're living in this reality na dapat kung gusto mo talaga yung isang bagay, dapat you have to pursue it with all you have. You give all you, yan, your full effort. Bibigyan mo talaga yung todo-todo mo, ganyan. Yun talaga yung first, is your determination in teaching. The second one is, as a teacher, since times are changing, learners become more complex, you need to be adaptable. You need to be flexible in a way of how you are going to strategize your lessons based on their individual needs or individual differences. Yun yung dapat mong matutunan as a teacher, na hindi ka lang sa iisang strategy magsistick na okay nga ito lahat nga ito, worksheets lahat nga bigay ko dyan. But there are some students, or most of the students really, some of them may be musically inclined or kinesthetically inclined. Iba-iba yung intelligences ng bawat isa po baga. We have the multiple intelligences, so you have to anchor your activities to their needs. Hindi lang sa kung anong kagustuhan mo, dapat child-centered ka, student-centered ka, if you really want them to learn. Hindi lang lahat nanggagaling sa yung information, but you also need to learn from them kung paano mo gagawin yung activities mo. It should suit them po baga. Dapat appropriate sa where they live, or like contextually appropriate siya, and wala siyang discrimination na makikita, and at the same time being student-centered talaga. Really, you really put the child in the center of learning. Yun talaga. Yun yung biggest factor talaga into teaching, is not just being the source of information. Dapat two-way yung communication nyo ng bata, since may natutunan ako sa kanya, dapat may matutunan rin sa akin. And then, yung natutunan ko sa kanya, pwede ko siyang may anchor sa activities ko in a way na maintindihan niya. Since yun nga yung alam ko sa kanya. So, yung interest niya, i-consider mo. And as well as he has different needs and experiences. Ayun. And then, so determination, commitment. And the second one is the adaptability and flexibility. Igdalalo ka. Ano pa? Last. Traits. Since determined ka na, flexible ka pa, ano pang kailangan mo? You need to have lots of patience. Ayan. Number 3, pero dapat number 1 yan. Patience. Yan talaga. Being mapasyente talaga especially sa kindergarten learners. They're very young, they're very active. Ako, in my case, active pa rin naman ako since medyo bata-bata pa ako. Pero kapag syempre tumanda-tanda ka na, mafe-feel mo na yung drain, yung physical drain. Na kahit gusto mo talaga siyang profession, mafe-feel mo talaga yung pagod. And syempre, once na hindi na parang namamanage yung behavior nila, syempre, you need to strategically mag-come up ka ng strategies to ensure na nakakot mo pa rin yung attention nila, ganyan. Dapat more baon talaga. Dapat marami kang alam, marami kang pakulo, marami kang iba't ibang clap, mga fireworks clap, kahit mga 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, shoo, ayan, na-entertain sila sa ganyan.
Yung mga gustong-gusto ng mga bata, yung mga ganun.
Yun yung mga iba't ibang strategies na pwede mo siyang, to divert your attention. And then, yun nga, para hindi ka rin mawalan ng pasensya, dapat marami kang baon talaga to get their attention. And then, at the end of the day, it's really fulfilling pa rin talaga when you ask them, ano ngayon tinuro ni teacher? Ganyan. Pag nare-recall nila, yan, letrang T, mga letter T, as time. Ako, very good. Magbigay ng salita na nagsisimula sa letrang T. Bigay naman sila. Pero, since, ayun nga, nag-demo kami out of nowhere. Ayun, nag-prepare kami, and then, syempre, kailangan mo ng realia, kailangan mo ng physical material. Ang ginawa ko, since nasa letter T kami, nagdala ako ng talong. Ng eggplant, ng talong. Kasi letter T nga siya. Tapos some of the students, syempre, picky eaters po baga sila. Hindi nila gusto ang gulay.
Hindi naman sila nag-voice out teacher na ayaw mo niya.
Yan, nag-voice out sila. Ay, teacher, ako po, di pa ako kumakain ng gulay. Sabi ko, bakit di ka kumakain? Ayoko lang po talaga. Sabi ko, dapat gawain. Pero ayun, issue na nila yun sa food. Pero, yun nga, encourage mo pa rin children na kumain ng healthy foods. Since yun naman talaga dapat yung dapat nilang makuha. So, ayun, nung nagdala ako ng talong as an example of a letter T word, sabi ko, syempre, hindi ko naman in-expect na mangyayari yan eh. So, sabi ko, tingnan niya at hawakan ko anong itsura ng talong. Ayan, binigay ko na sa mga bata. Pasa-pasa nila. Pero wala pang 5 seconds. Yung isang bata, kinuha yung talong, tapos binite niya. Kinagat niya. Tawa kami ng tawa sa loob na classroom. Pati yung mga children, tawa ng tawa. Sabi ko, niluwa niya na. Sabi ko, anong lasa ng talong? Sabi ko, hawakan lang. Tapos tingnan, bakit mo binite? So sabi niya, wala siyang reaction. Tawa lang din siya. Sabi ko, anong lasa? Hindi niya nasagot. Maybe di pa siya familiar sa taste. Pero for sure, mapait yun. Yun. So yun, yung experience na yun. Last afternoon actually na session namin sa morning. Sa afternoon session. Tinanong ko ulit siya. Sabi ko, gusto mo ngayon dalhin yung talong. Tapos, kinagat niya ulit. Hindi ko talaga ina-expect. Nakakagatin niya ulit. Kasi nga yung unang reaction niya. Parang hindi nga siya nasarapan eh. Tapos siya pa mismo yung nagsabi sa akin na hindi ako kumakain ng gulay, pero kinagat niya yung talong. So, it's a very unexpected talaga ang mga shenanigans ng mga children. Hindi mo talaga ma-expect kung anong gagawin nila. So, yun, unexpected. Kinagat niya. Ayaw niya rin naman ilagay sa bag. So, inuwi ko na lang yung talong. Pero hindi ko na ginulay. Dumiretso na siya sa buzzer. Maliit lang naman siya, maliit. So, ayun. For example lang talaga, kasi siya eh. Pero yun yung nangyari sa talong.
Parang napaka-colorful din ng experience niya sa ECU, no? Iba-ibang experiences, pero mostly yung mga ganun na moments.
Grabe, yung curiosity talaga ng mga bata, it's what piques the fun, the engagement sa isang kindergarten classroom. Yun talaga, hindi mo talaga in-expect na yun yung gagawin niya eh. Pero matatawa ka na lang talaga sa mga ginagawa ng mga bata. Ayun, hindi naman siya harmful actually. It's just, plaything sa mga kids.
Since bata pa sila, it's really, important talaga na meron silang dedicated time for play. Kasi iba naman yung lifestyle nila sa atin ng mga adults na in teens. Kasi yun nga, yung mga interaction nila, ganun pa lang. They are building their interpersonal skills, their social skills with their classmates. Kung ganun yung magiging scenario and very strict yung teacher, parang napakahirap naman sa bata na mag-express. Kasi kumbaga, human nature din yun yung bata. Hindi man yun maiiwasan sa kanila. And yeah, it boils down dun sa number 1 and 3 mo na kailangan na traits ng teacher. Yung determined and yung may patient ka na to handle ano man yung ginagawa nila, ano man yung mga moods nila, mga pinagkakabisihan nila sa classroom. You have to remain patient pa din. Kasi yun nga sila. They have these characteristics kasi ganun yung grupo nila. So, sa ganito teacher na you're lucky kasi clear ka na sa kung ano yung passionate ka. Sa mga tao naman na maybe, yun nga, doubtful pa din sila, maybe indecisive sila, hindi nila malaman kung ano talaga yung para sa kanila. Or maybe yun nga, alam nila pero doubtful sila because of this circumstance, kung ano man yung kalagayan nila ngayon. Ano yung maibibigay mo sa kanilang pieces of advice para mag-continue sa journey with this amount of courage and bravery na, hey, kaya natin to. At the end of the day, kaya natin to. Maybe at a certain point, nandito pa lang tayo. Pero kasi, yun nga yung sa quote na maybe hindi natin alam talaga kung ano pa yung para sa atin. Kaya siguro iniisip natin na we are not yet making sense of things. Pero ano ba yung pwede mong masabi mo dun, teacher, para sa kanila na no, we are going through the same thing or ganito din yung ginagawa ng iba and there is still hope. Ano ba yung pwede mong ma-share sa kanila, teacher?
I think the only thing that I can think of right now is ikaw dapat mismo, sarili mo, you need to create an opportunity for yourself to grow, to improve, or to really explore kung ano ba talaga yung magiging passion mo. Hindi ka mag-aantay ng opportunity na dumating sa'yo. Ang gagawin talaga is ikaw yung mag-create ng ganitong opportunity. So actually yung pag-apply ko dito. Actually, parang nung una, hindi nga ako makapaniwala na makakapasok ako. Kasi, try ko lang talaga siya. Naging spontaneous lang talaga ako sa decision na ginagawa ko na, okay, try natin pasok tayo dito. We'll see what happens. But, yun yung, that's what life is. Yung, every decision that you make, every step that you make, it's what makes your life. It what makes your life na up to the point na ganito yung magiging experience mo. Yun yung magiging point wherein, buti ginawa ko to. Yung magiging moment na, buti na lang hindi ko pinalampas yung opportunity na to. Buti na lang hindi ako naging doubtful sa skills ko. Pero syempre, may mga times pa rin na ganun yung mafe-feel natin na madi-discourage ka talaga. Pero, the first step talaga is to really know what you want to do or what you don't want to do. It's just, being true to yourself and then pagkilala talaga sa sarili. Yun yung pinaka-importante. Your self-growth and your self-concept and your self-awareness. That's the one thing that I believe na pinaka-importante talaga sa buhay. Yung pagkilala mo kasi sa sarili mo, once na alam mo kung anong gusto mong gawin, kung hindi mo gustong gawin, ang magiging result niya talaga is once na ginawa mo yung gusto mo and you put work into it, you were dedicated, you put all of your effort, your time, magiging worth it siya at the end. So, yun yung ginawa ko actually. Kahit nung una, very doubtful talaga. Sabi ko nga recently, ngayon lang na senior year na ako, umiyak talaga ako one time na sabi ko, ito ba talaga parang I still feel lost pero last year ko na sa education. As in, iyak ako na iyak. Sabi, ito ba talaga yung gusto ko? Hindi ko talaga alam kung anong gusto ko. Pero when I give myself the chance na ma-experience yung teaching children, or pagpasok pa nga lang sa classroom and then they're really curious to see you, to meet you, to get to know you. At that point, parang sabi ko, wow, feel ko, this is where I belong. Yung ganun yung naging moment ko actually, first time kong pumasok dun sa classroom namin ngayon. So, ayun, that experience mismo na, yun nga, aware talaga sa sarili ko na hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin ko. Kung hindi ko talaga alam yung reason ba't ganito yung nafe-feel ko, but knowing na hindi mo alam, gets ba? Tama ba? Knowing na hindi mo alam, yun yung nagiging parang drive mo to let yourself experience mga experience na sa tingin mo makakapagpa-improve talaga sa'yo as a person. Ayun. That's what I did, actually. So, ayun. So, ayun. Create opportunities to yourself, for yourself, and for your improvement nga as a person. You just, you don't wait for any opportunity to come, you create one. Ganon.
That's very optimistic of you, teacher. Napakagandang trait, lalo na ngayon na you're dealing with various situations, iba-ibang iniisip, iba-ibang battles. I think kahit na mahirap ano man yung level or ano man yung situation, it's nice din na we are very optimistic. Kasi there is something greater ahead of us. Hindi lang natin siya alam pa, but there is something for us.
That is
so,
true.
Ngayon, teacher, na as an at this point of your life, as an empowered individual and as a dedicated future educator, what do you want to aspire in the coming years?
Aspire?
Aspire.
Aspire. Well, pakisimplify pa ng question. Parang masyado siyang deep. Parang yung level ng English ko, pang kinder na lang. Grabe naman.
I mean, what do you want? What do you hope for either sa life mo, sa journey mo, or for your future? I mean, future students.
Ayan, gusto ko lang talaga mangyari sa buhay ko is to love what I do. Yun talaga yung magandang dapat perspective mo sa buhay. Hindi yung gagawa ka ng something just because naobliga ka or someone told you to do it. But yung sa sarili mo talaga, yung masasabi na, oh, I love doing this, it makes me happy, it makes me who I am, mga ganyan. I belong here, mga ganong affirmations sa sarili mo. Yun yung nakikita ko sa akin, sa sarili ko, in the future, if I really thrive into the field of education.
Thank you so much, teacher, for sharing your valuable insights. I think maraming nakarelate sa atin and maraming nakuha yung mga viewers natin based sa sharing nyo. And ano man yung pinagdadaanan natin, ano man yung face natin, whether we are still doubting ourselves, whether we are still confused of what we are going to be in the next future, I think we should remain rather committed sa kung ano man yung gusto natin or yung initial na gusto natin or yung base na din sa kung anong kakayahan natin. So, again, thank you so much, Teacher Clarice.
Thank you
for
Teacher Sai.
it was a very nice conversation kasi iba talaga pag pinag-uusapan yung something na passionate ka kasi iba yung nagagawa niya. Like, to share lang kanina, I met this group of passionate students and napawaw kami. Kasi I realized na iba talaga yung nagagawa ng dedication, commitment, and yung passion. If you are really into this craft or something, it produces something greater. And sa mga ginagawa natin ngayon, sana makuha natin malaman natin kung ano talaga yung passionate tayo and we nurture ourselves. We continue to aspire or to strive para maging mas better pa. Again, thank you so much, Teacher Clarice, for heeding our call to share your inspiring story to our Orange community. And thank you so much for tuning in to our 4th episode of Amplifying Voices with our special guest, Miss Clarice Baldon.
Thank you so much for inviting Miren, Sir Jaime, and then for coordinating me, Teacher Sai, and then kay Ma'am. Ayun po.
We are very thrilled and honored na maging way kami para ma-share mo din yung something na passionate ka. And just like our advocacy to empower individuals, I hope sa episode na to, mas naka-empower pa tayo ng mas maraming individuals. And yun nga, we hope that you have been inspired by her life story. And like her, may we respond to the call of creating empowered individuals. So if you also have an inspiring story or talent that you want to share with the Orange community and the world, kindly contact us at smartspeech2023@gmail.com. So see you in our next episode with our special guest. This has been your host, Heidi Bigtas. Join us in celebrating life stories and uncovering potentials in creating empowered individuals through Amplifying Voices, brought to you by Smart Speech Learning and Development Center. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Miss Clarice.
Thank you, everyone.